YouTube. Today on the Naughty Librarian, I'm going over my November TBR list. I have some really good books I'm going to be reading in November. It's also a weird month though because I don't know how many I'm actually going to get to because I know the holidays are coming up. I have Thanksgiving I have to worry about. So it's going to be a rough reading month, I think. It's going to be hard finding time to read, but it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. I want to continue on in my historical romance journey, so I have a couple more I'm going to read this month. I'm going to start off with A Rogue by Any Other Name by Sarah MacLean. I have been really wanting to read more Sarah MacLean books because I read Wicked and the Wallflower and I actually kind of liked it. So I do want to read more of her stuff. This is about a woman named Penelope who's been screwed over by a few dudes. She doesn't want anything to do with them. And then this guy who is the Marquess of Bourne, and he like lost all his like standing in society, and now he's just been like a kind of degenerate a bit for a while, and he marries Penelope. And she's like, oh, guys have fucked me over before, so I'm not really interested in nice guys, but I am interested in that D. And he's just like, no, I don't want to corrupt you. But she's like, bring that D. And he's just like, okay. I assume that's what's going to happen in this. I haven't read it yet, but like, I'm kind of all about it right now. Also, this is a romance novel. When you see this little like insert, it means you're just going to have a smutty bit. Just look at that smutty bit. It's always like the secret smutty tab. I love it. I love the secret smutty tabs. The other historical romance I'm planning to read is Wilde in Love by Eloisa James. Eloisa James is an author I have heard a lot of great things about. I've heard that she's very similar to Tessa Dare. Since I love Tessa Dare so much, I want to try her out because I'm always looking for something more Tessa Dare-like. It's about Lord Ulrich, who has been gallivanting about Europe for a while. And he didn't know that like his exploits have been in the papers. So when he finally gets back, he's like the famous guy. Like everyone is just like, oh my gosh, I've read all about your adventures. You're like the most cool guy in London. He's just like, but I'm scared. And then he goes to his dad's castle and he meets this woman named Willa, who I think I am going to be like book best friends with because she seems amazing. She loves books. She loves dirty jokes. And she's kind of like quick-witted and snarky, but she's also kind of shy and quiet. And then, you know, they bang each other. In love, I don't know. I'm assuming that's how it ends. I am so about this. I feel like I'm going to like both of these characters quite a bit. And this is also one with a secret smutty tab. Let's see. Yep, that is a very smutty tab. Although they're very happy. So I think this is going to be very much a comedy. I'm excited about that. But yes, smutty tabs are wonderful. I haven't read the Kate Daniels series by Ilona Andrews, and that is a travesty. So I'm hoping I am going to read Magic Bites by Ilona Andrews. I have been wanting to read this series for such a long time, I just haven't done it. So I want to try to get this in November. Fingers crossed. This is urban fantasy. It follows a woman named Kate Daniels who's kind of like a mercenary, and there's also shapeshifters in it and probably other things I'm not aware of yet. And yeah, I just like Ilona Andrews' books a lot because I've read the Hidden Legacy series and it's like one of my all-time favorite urban fantasies. It's so good. So yes, Kate Daniels is like 10 books long. It's like one of her most famous series. I'm gonna get into this. Another book I am hoping to get to is The Cheerleaders by Kara Thomas. Oh my goodness, I love Kara Thomas books. Kara Thomas writes YA murder mysteries, and her books are so juicy. They are amazing murder mysteries. Holy shit, like, if they weren't teens and they were all written as adults, they'd be equally as good and you could sell them in the adult section. Like, they're amazing books. I have never been able to peg the killer in any of her books. this is her third book. I've only read the first two. Couldn't peg the killer. So that is a miracle for me. So I'm so excited to get into this one by Kara Thomas. This is about a group of cheerleaders who all progressively got killed off or killed themselves or murdered or whatever. And this is like 5 years ago, and then after that everyone's just like, okay, well, like, no more cheerleaders, they're apparently gonna get murdered all the time. This follows a girl named Monica whose sister was one of the cheerleaders, and 5 years has gone by and she is trying to unravel the mystery of what actually happened to these girls because there's no one around who knows exactly what happened and why these events occurred. So it's gonna be like a little bit detective work. I'm sure it's gonna be twisted. The ending is probably gonna shock me and be haunting, and I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited for this. Another murder mystery I want to read is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I kind of bought this on a whim because I was at an event that Maureen Johnson was at, so I was like, I should buy this book and read it. It is a murder mystery, but kind of a cold case murder mystery. In 1936, when this private boarding school, Ellingham, was established, the founder's wife and daughter were kidnapped, and the only like clue left behind was this letter that was signed Truly Devious. And now it's modern day, and this girl Stevie shows up at the school, and she's like into true crime. She's like, I'm gonna solve this case. And I'm sure there's going to be creepy going-ons. And yeah, I've heard like amazing things about this. So I kind of really want to get into this. And I liked Maureen when I met her, so it'll happen in November. I am also going to continue reading the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. So book 2, like, because there was a prequel, so yeah, book 2, whatever. Book 2 is Crown of Midnight. This is following Selena after she has won the competition in Throne of Glass, and she's now like the King's Champion, or aka Executioner, and she's gonna do some cool stuff. She's gonna kick some ass, take some names, there's probably gonna be magic, and yeah, it's a continuation on. I don't really know what to say about it, but like I kind of like Selena. Not everyone likes her, but like I like her, so like I want to read this series. I'm into it. Another series I am going to complete this month is Rowan and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. This is book 3 of the Grisha trilogy. I've read the first 2 and I enjoyed both of those very much. Well, I wouldn't say very much. I enjoyed them. They're not like the best things I've ever read. I know it's sacrilege to say this, but like, they're alright. I like them. I like them enough. I want to finish this because I really like Nikolai. He is a dope character, and I know he's going to be in this a bunch. I'm also buddy reading this with Leanna from Leanna's Library and Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany. I'll leave links to their channels down below so you can check them out. They're cool ladies. And we're all going to read this book this month, and just like, I'm excited to finish the Grisha trilogy because then I can move on to the Six of Crows duology, and I will finally be caught up with Leigh Bardugo because I have all of her books and not read them. So, progress. I'm going to finish this in November. I had Thunderhead on my TBR list a few months ago and I never read it. And it's just because I didn't. There's no good reason really, I just didn't get to it. So I want to try to get to it in November because I need to read it this year. I got it in the beginning of this year because I went to an event with Neal Schusterman. It's signed. I haven't read it. I really liked Scythe, the prequel to this, so I think this is going to be amazing. It follows on in this society where it's weird because it's kind of a utopia. Whereas, instead of humans doing something wrong, humans did everything right. So like, death has been eliminated, disease has been eliminated. Like if you walked out in the street and you got hit by a bus, you go to the hospital and you'd be fine in a couple days. Like they just put you back together. Like basically they've like perfected everything. Everything's perfect now. However, you still have to control population. So they have this like, it's like a monk-like group of scythes, and essentially they'll just murder people. Murderville land. It's actually really, really good. It's really thought-provoking and I liked it a lot, so I do want to continue on with the series, so I'm going to try my best to get to Thunderhead this month. I also want to get to A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. I really want to continue on with the Shades of Magic series. I read Darker Shades of Magic, and I really like this series. It is very stylish, and it's an interesting fantasy world. It's a really cool concept, and I like all of it. It's not as character-based as I like, because that's why I really like her Vicious series, because those ones are only character-based. There's not a lot in the plot. It's all about character development. These are more plot-based rather than character-based, but it's a dope plot. So I really want to finish the Shades of Magic series, and this is book 2, so I'm going to get to it this month. This is like my goal. Last on my list, I am hoping to get to Catwoman, Soulstealer by Sarah J. Maas. 2 Sarah J. Maas books this month. It's gonna be weird, but they're 2 very different books, not in canon with each other, so I think it'll be okay. This is part of the DC Icon series, and I love this series so far. Leigh Bardugo wrote Wonder Woman, Maria Liu wrote Batman, and then now Sarah J. Maas has written a Catwoman book. And in this book, it's Catwoman, Poison Ivy, and Harley Quinn. They form like a girl gang, and they're like, we're robbing everybody, what? it. And there's probably some magic and stuff. But I'm into it. I really like Catwoman in general. And I think Sarah J. Maas might do a good job with this. I think this might be right in her wheelhouse of characters to write about. So I'm excited. I think it'll be good. The DC Icon series has been really good so far. So yeah, I have like a lot of really cool books on deck for November. Fingers crossed I am going to get to all of them, because with Thanksgiving coming up and like, it's gonna be a wild month. It's gonna be very busy. I'm gonna have a lot of like just shit going down personally. So I don't know how many I'm gonna get to. I'm hoping it's a good reading month. It might not be, but this is my ambitious list before I even start reading for November. Let me know in the comments down below what you're going to be reading in November. If you want to buddy read something, let me know in the comments down below. We'll work it out. Also, let me know what you're reading in November. If you're not reading one of these, if you've already read one of these, tell me if you liked it. Basically, just tell me a bunch of stuff in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And I will see you guys soon. Bye!